There is a war being fought inside you, not with weapons, not with armies, with words, with silence, with calculated kindness and perfectly timed cruelty. Most people never see it coming. They walk through their days believing they are free, free to choose, free to feel, free to think. But somewhere along the way, someone reached into the machinery of their mind and started turning the gears. We are going to talk about that today. Not to frighten you, to arm you. Marcus Aurelius, a man who commanded the most powerful empire the world had ever seen, wrote something in the quiet of his private journals that most emperors would never dare admit. The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. He was not writing for his generals. He was writing for himself, because even an emperor, perhaps especially an emperor, was surrounded by those who sought to bend his will, flatterers, schemers, men who smiled in the morning and conspired by night. The battlefield Marcus feared most was not the Germanic frontier. It was the 6 inches between stimulus and response, the space inside his own mind where manipulation first takes root. We live in that battlefield every day. And here is the first uncomfortable truth we must face together. Manipulation does not arrive wearing a mask. It arrives wearing your trust. It uses the language of love to create dependence. It uses the language of reason to cloud your judgment. It uses your deepest fears as a lever, and it pulls. Psychologists call this coercive control. Ancient philosophers called it something darker, the theft of your hegemonicon, your ruling faculty. The sovereign self. When that is stolen from you, you do not feel robbed. You feel confused. And confusion, as we will see, is always the first weapon. There is a technique as old as power itself. It has many modern names: gaslighting, reality distortion, cognitive dissonance induction. But its mechanics have not changed since Seneca observed. That what you remember did not happen. That what you felt was an overreaction. That what you saw, you misunderstood. And slowly, quietly, you begin to distrust the most important instrument you possess, your own perception. This is not an accident. It is architecture. The manipulative mind builds a structure around you, not walls you can see and push against, but fog. Endless, disorienting fog. Epictetus, who was born into slavery and forged his philosophy in chains, understood this better than most free men ever would. He said, "Men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things." This is not a passive observation. It is a battle cry. Because if our disturbance lives in our interpretation, then no one can disturb us without our permission. So ask yourself honestly, who has been interpreting your reality for you? Whose voice do you hear when you begin to doubt yourself? That voice, wherever it comes from, is where the manipulation lives. And recognizing it is the first act of liberation. We do not fight fog with our fists. We stand still. We breathe, and we let it clear. There is a technique as old as power itself. It has many modern names: gaslighting, reality distortion, cognitive dissonance induction. But its mechanics have not changed since Seneca observed. that what you remember did not happen, that what you felt was an overreaction, that what you saw, you misunderstood. And slowly, quietly, you begin to distrust the most important instrument you possess, your own perception. This is not an accident. It is architecture. The manipulative mind builds the structure around you, not walls you can see and push against, but fog. Endless, disorienting fog. Epictetus, who was born into slavery and forged his philosophy in chains, understood this better than most free men ever would. He said, "Men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things." This is not a passive observation. It is a battle cry. Because if our disturbance lives in our interpretation, then no one can disturb us without our permission. So ask yourself honestly, who has been interpreting your reality for you? Whose voice do you hear when you begin to doubt yourself? That voice, wherever it comes from, is where the manipulation lives. And recognizing it is the first act of liberation. We do not fight fog with our fists. We stand still. We breathe, and we let it clear. Manipulator's most reliable tool is not anger. It is guilt. Guilt is elegant in its cruelty. It requires no physical force. It lives inside the victim, self-sustaining, self-reinforcing. A prison with no visible walls and no visible warden. You did not do enough. You said the wrong thing. You should have known better. You owe me. These phrases, in all their variations, are not expressions of genuine hurt. They are instruments of control. Modern clinical psychology identifies this pattern clearly. Manufactured guilt, guilt tripping, operates by exploiting the empathetic individual's conscience, turning their greatest strength into their greatest vulnerability. Epictetus saw the same mechanism at work in the Rome of his time, and he left us with something surgical in its precision. Never say about anything, "I have lost it," but "I have restored it." Is your child dead? It has been restored. Is your wife dead? She has been restored. Is your estate taken away? Well, and is not that likewise restored? But he who took it away is a bad man. What difference is it to you who the giver assigns to make his demand? As long as he gives it you, take care of it. But don't view it as your own, just as travelers view a hotel. This is not coldness. This is sovereignty. Epictetus is not asking us to feel nothing. He is showing us where our responsibility ends and where the manipulator's false claim begins. You are not responsible for managing another person's emotions by destroying your own. You are not guilty for having boundaries. You are not a bad person for outgrowing a dynamic that was designed to diminish you. Seneca wrote to Lucilius with the directness of a man who had little time left to be anything but honest. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The guilt you carry, hold it to the light. Examine it. Ask whose voice first placed it there. Because guilt that does not belong to you is not a moral burden. It is a leash. And we were not built for leashes. The architect of manipulation understands one thing with frightening clarity. A person surrounded by mirrors sees only themselves. And so the manipulator works, methodically, patiently, to remove every other reflection from your world. They do not say, "I want you isolated." They say, "Your friends don't understand you like I do." They say, "Your family has always held you back." They say, "You don't need anyone else." And each statement, delivered softly, removes one more thread, connecting you to the world beyond their control. Modern psychology identifies this as coercive isolation, a foundational step in nearly every documented case of psychological abuse. It is not coincidence. It is strategy. Because the isolated mind loses its calibration points. Without other perspectives, without the friction of genuine community, we begin to accept the reality we are handed, simply because it is the only reality being offered. Marcus Aurelius, who governed an empire but wrote of wisdom as a communal project, understood the necessity of what we might call philosophical companionship. We are born for cooperation, as are the feet, the hands, the eyelids, the upper and lower rows of teeth. We are not designed for isolation. We are designed for genuine connection, not the simulated connection that manipulation offers, which always comes with conditions and costs. If someone in your life has systematically narrowed, if you find yourself explaining to fewer and fewer people, if the circle has tightened until only one voice remains, this is not intimacy, this is control. And the path back begins not with confrontation, but with a single act of courage. Reach out to one person, speak one true thing, allow one outside perspective to enter. The manipulator's architecture crumbles the moment it meets reality. We come to the center of everything. We have walked through the fog of confusion. We have named the weaponization of love. We have examined guilt and isolation. But understanding the mechanisms of manipulation is only half of what we came here to do. The other half, the deeper half, is this: building something inside yourself that cannot be manipulated. Marcus Aurelius called it the inner citadel. Not a metaphor for emotional suppression, not a euphemism for numbness. A living, fortified center, self-knowledge, self-command, and philosophical clarity, from which no external force can dislodge you without your consent. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The psychologist Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the unimaginable architectures of human cruelty in Nazi concentration camps, arrived at the same conclusion through incomprehensible suffering. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Two men, 20 centuries apart. The same truth. This space, this sovereign interval between what happens to you and how you respond, is where your freedom lives. The manipulator's entire system depends on collapsing that space, on making your reactions automatic, reflexive, predictable. They provoke, you react. They adjust, you react again. And in this dance, you are never leading. So how do we expand the space? Not through indifference, not through detachment that masquerades as strength, through deliberate attention. The Stoic practice of prosoche, self-attention, watchfulness of one's own inner movements, is the foundational discipline. Every morning, we examine what disturbs us. Every evening, we review where we were moved without our consent, not with self-condemnation. Marcus himself wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own." This is not passive acceptance. This is informed readiness. The warrior who knows the terrain is not frightened by it. We train ourselves to see manipulation, not with rage or despair, but with the cold clarity of a physician examining a pathology. We name it, we understand it, and in that understanding, we neutralize it. We arrive now at what all of this has been building toward. Not survival, not mere resistance. Return. A return to the person you were before the confusion was planted. before the guilt was installed, before the isolation narrowed your world to a single, controlling voice. That person is not gone. They have been waiting. Epictetus, a slave who became one of history's most powerful minds, did not achieve his freedom through escape. He achieved it through understanding what freedom actually is. No man is free who is not master of himself. Read that again. No man is free who is not master of himself. This is the reversal that manipulation cannot survive, because the manipulator's power depends entirely on your relationship with your own emotions, on your fear of abandonment, your need for approval, your terror of conflict. When you do the work, the long, unglamorous, philosophically rigorous work of understanding your own emotional architecture, those levers lose their power. Not because you no longer feel, but because you choose how you respond to what you feel. Ryan Holiday, one of the sharpest modern inheritors of this ancient tradition, wrote in The Obstacle is the Way, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition. The manipulation you have endured, or are enduring now, is not the end of your story. It is the pressure that reveals your character. It is the fire in which the iron becomes steel. The people who emerge from psychologically abusive dynamics with their integrity intact do not do so by accident. They do so because somewhere, in the darkest part of the fog, they held on to something. A sense, however faint, that they were more than what they were being told they were. That sense is virtue. Not virtue as a moral performance. Virtue as the Latin virtus intended it. Strength, excellence, the full expression of human capability. And virtue, once awakened, is extraordinarily difficult to extinguish. Marcus Aurelius, at the end of a reign spent navigating treachery, plague, and war, wrote these words in the quiet of his final years. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. We do not argue anymore. We do not explain ourselves to those who have already decided who we are. We do not negotiate our worth with people whose interest lies in undervaluing it. We simply, with great deliberateness, with philosophical patience, with the quiet ferocity of the fully awakened, become. The war that began inside you does not end with a single battle. It ends, gradually, then completely, when you stop giving your inner world to those who never deserved entry into it. When you reclaim your perception, dissolve the manufactured guilt, rebuild the connections that were severed, and return, with clear eyes and unshaking hands, to the sovereign self that was always waiting beneath the noise. Seneca, writing in his last years with the urgency of a man who understood impermanence, gave us perhaps the most important instruction of all. Recede in the ipse quantum quotes. Withdraw into yourself as much as you can, not away from the world, into yourself, into the citadel, into the unmanipulable center, where your volumes live, your clarity lives, your irreducible dignity lives. That is where we go now. That is where we have always been going. Walk forward. The path is steep. The fog will return. But you have something now that manipulation cannot touch. You know what the fog is made of, and you know how to stand in it without being lost.